My grandmother's photos have a glitch. It's moving closer in every picture. If this video suddenly cuts off, don't rewind, don't screenshot, and whatever you do, don't try to sharpen the blur. That's how it finds new faces. I didn't believe any of that until the day I opened the leather album marked EW. It was buried in the back of my grandmother's closet under quilts that still smelled like mothballs and church perfume. Old leather, iron clasps, edges black with age. On the back cover, burned deep into the hide, EW. At first, I thought it was just another family photo book, but my grandmother's labels were wrong. No dates, no locations, just causes of death. Barn fire year, river, car, bridge, before the lightning. I told myself she'd just been dramatic at the end. Then I saw the wedding photo. Everyone's lined up stiff in front of a church, men in wool suits, women looking like they'd never smiled in their lives. And running between two oak trees in the background is this ripple. A narrow vertical distortion perfectly straight from ground to sky. The faces behind it are bent, stretched like they're being pulled sideways into another frame. Next page. Different decade, different people. Same ripple, this time crossing a little boy's face, bleaching his eyes to white. The caption under it, Amos, fence line, before the lightning. I'm a designer. I know film damage. Scratches wander, stains spread. They don't repeat the exact same width and shape for 100 years. But that's what I was seeing. I spread the photos out on the living room floor. Sepia portraits, Polaroids, glossy prints, even a couple inkjet pages from early digital cameras. In every single one, the ripple was there. At first, it lurked in the background, tree lines, walls, windows. Then it brushed shoulders, skimmed across laps, touched throats. In my parents' wedding photo, it slices right through my mother's veil, turning part of her cheek into static. On the back, in tiny handwriting, my grandmother had added, "Too close." That's when I realized what her captions really were. Whenever the ripple touched someone's body, even a fingertip, that was the person named in the death note. Barnfire bride, river uncle, lightning boy. One by one, generation by generation. Then I got to the last three prints. My brother in front of his new house, the ripple over the front steps. My cousin at a barbecue, the ripple through the hand holding the tongs. And me, on my grandmother's couch last Christmas, arm around her shoulders, laughing. The ripple stands between us, touching only my shoulder. The back of that photo is blank. For now. I needed this to be nothing, a scanner error, a bad restoration. So I picked one of the oldest photos, Uncle Silas at the river, and took a high-res shot with my phone. On the phone screen, the image was clean, no ripple. I imported it into my laptop, opened it in Photoshop. Right in front of me, the pixels shivered. The line faded in like a migraine aura. First faint, then solid. When I checked the file info, the date taken field had changed to the exact minute I opened the album. I closed the laptop so hard the charger popped out. But there was no comfort in pretending it hadn't happened. When I reopened the file, the ripple was still there, and it had moved half an inch closer to the camera. I carried a print to an old photo restorer across town. He examined it under magnification, lips pressing into a line. "This isn't emulsion damage," he said. "It's additive, like something wrote itself in afterward." He offered to run a test using his offline scanner. No cloud, no AI, just light and chemicals. That night he called me, voice tight. I made a fresh print from the plate. Perfect, no defect. Left it on the light table. He paused. When I came back, both prints had that column. I checked the security footage. There's one frame where the overhead lamp flickers. Between that frame and the next, the marks appear. Nothing touches them. He mailed everything back with a refund and a note. Whatever it isn't in the camera. It's in your line. The initials on the back kept bothering me. E.W. I dug through my grandmother's papers until I found a brittle envelope with the same letters on the seal. Inside was a photocopy of a much older document, the front page of a bound journal from 1873. Ward Observation Log, Specimen A, Family Line Agreement. Ward. I'd heard that name before. A few months back, I'd watched a video about a man named Elias Ward, a 19th century schoolmaster who kept a journal of things not quite human watching his town. In the video, the creator showed a screenshot of the digitized file's corrupted metadata. Ward_line_protocol_active=true. My grandmother's photocopy had the same phrase stamped at the bottom in faint, glitchy ink. Suddenly, the album didn't feel like a random curse. It felt like a continuation, another branch of the same experiment, another family enlisted. Someone, sometime, had agreed to let this thing track us. One marked body per generation in exchange for, what? Safety? Luck? Survival? On the inside cover in my grandmother's sharp, shaky handwriting were 3 rules. Someone must always watch it. Never let it choose blind. Do not let outsiders catalog the faces. I didn't understand that 3rd rule yet. I would. I decided to end it. I wrapped the album in a trash bag and shoved it into the freezer behind the ice cream. The moment the door slammed, the entire apartment reacted. Every picture frame on my walls dropped at once. Glass shattered. The TV flickered on by itself and cycled through HDMI inputs like it was having a seizure. My phone buzzed on the counter. Notifications exploded across the lock screen. Google Photos is reorganizing your memories. We've resurfaced older photos of you. When I opened the gallery, every album had been rearranged. Instead of the usual chronological grid, my images were grouped into a single, creeping timeline labeled Ward_observation_log, unconfirmed. In the top row was a selfie I'd taken that morning making coffee, half asleep. It hadn't had anything strange in it. Now, just over my shoulder, a pale vertical smear bent the kitchen tiles. I yanked the freezer open. The album sat there, frost rhyming the leather. As soon as I touched it, my phone buzzed again. The strange label vanished. The gallery snapped back to normal order. It wasn't trapped in the book anymore. It was mirrored there, sure, but the second I tried to hide the physical copy, it reached for the digital. That's what my grandmother had been afraid of. Don't let outsiders catalog the faces. Algorithms are just very fast outsiders. We'd spent a century keeping the anomaly in old cardboard boxes while the rest of the world built perfect, searchable archives for it. Looking at all the prints again, something clicked. In every picture, the ripple hugs the edges, door frames, tree trunks, window borders. It doesn't like open spaces. It likes boundaries, lines, the places where one thing becomes another. My grandmother's margin notes finally made sense. It organizes the edges, keeps the world sorted. If no one watches, it chooses its own. She wasn't just tracking our deaths, she was babysitting a system. Elias Ward called his journal an observation log. The album is ours. a registry, a ledger that tells the thing which lives in the seams of reality where to eat next, so the rest of us can keep pretending the seam isn't there. For 150 years, my family had paid with one life at a time. Now I was the only one left who'd seen the whole pattern. So why am I showing this to strangers on the internet? Because of my cousin. In his barbecue photo, the ripple crossed his hand. Last week, he was rushed to the hospital after a propane tank explosion. The burns on his arm healed everywhere except a thin, jagged stripe, exactly where the distortion had been. While I sat in the waiting room, my phone pinged. New memory available. Same person? Google had grouped photos of my cousin, my brother, and me together under a single face label. The name at the top of the group wasn't his. It wasn't mine. It was Ward_line_protocol. That's when I knew I was running out of time. The entity doesn't just sit in the pages. It's learning from our software, our tags, our captions. It's figuring out how to treat an entire bloodline as one continuous subject. One very long exposure. Here's the truth. Right now, the safest place for this thing is with me. In paper. In the dark. Watched. If I smash the album or delete every photo I own, it won't die. It will go looking for another archive to live in. Maybe a government database, maybe a social media server farm, somewhere with better organization. So I'm doing what Elias Ward did. I'm making a deal. I will keep the physical album in my apartment. I will not upload the raw images. I will not share the originals. In return, it can feed on something smaller than bodies. Attention. Every view, every heartbeat of dread, every second you spend picturing that pale ripple in your own family photos, that's food. That's the treat I'm tossing the shark at the surface so it doesn't dive deeper. But there's a line. Do not go hunting for enhancement tools. Do not try to AI sharpen the blur in your parents' wedding photo. Don't ask your cloud service to find similar faces. That's how you invite it to start a new Ward observation log with your name in the metadata. Because on the newest page of the album, the one I will never scan, the glitch isn't a column anymore. It has shoulders now, a head, the suggestion of hands resting lightly on the back of the couch. And in the reflection on my TV screen, it isn't looking at me at all. It's leaning forward, right over my shoulder, trying to see who's watching.
Thank you for listening to The Storyteller's Moon. If this story touched you, scared you, or kept you on the edge of your seat, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps the stories alive, and I can't wait to share the next one with you under the moonlight. Until then, may your nights be safe and your dreams unforgettable.